The text from my Aunt Carol came on a Tuesday afternoon while I was in a meeting with the VP of Marketing at Northstar Digital, where I'd worked as their Director of Brand Partnerships for the past 4 years. Family reunion dinner. June 15th at Mirabelle. 7 p.m. sharp. Be there. We haven't seen you in forever. Mirabelle. I knew that restaurant intimately, not because I'd eaten there, but because I'd negotiated our company's corporate account with them last year. We hosted client dinners there at least twice a month. The manager, Laurent, knew me by name. I also knew their private dining room for 25 people cost a minimum of $5,500, not including wine. My phone buzzed again. This time from my cousin Derek. Aunt C says you're coming to the reunion. Try to dress nice this time? We're going somewhere classy. I stared at that message. The last family gathering I'd attended was 3 years ago, Thanksgiving at Uncle Joe's house, where I'd shown up in a blazer and slacks from Banana Republic, and my cousin Melissa had loudly asked if I'd borrowed someone's interview clothes. They still thought I was the struggling junior marketing assistant I'd been 7 years ago, fresh out of college and living in a studio apartment with 2 roommates. They didn't know about the promotion, or the second promotion, or the $215,000 salary, or the company car, or the executive expense account that had my name on it. I kept it quiet because the one time I'd mentioned getting promoted, Uncle Joe had immediately asked if I could invest $10,000 in his guaranteed cryptocurrency scheme. When I'd politely declined, he'd spent the rest of the evening telling everyone I'd become too good for family, so I'd learned. Keep your head down. Let them think what they want. Avoid becoming the family ATM. I'll be there, I texted back to Carol. What I didn't text was that I'd already seen the reservation in our corporate system. Mirabelle's private dining room, June 15th, 7 p.m., party of 25, booked under Jensen Family Reunion. What I also didn't mention was that there was no credit card on file for the reservation. The week before the reunion, my phone started blowing up with family group chat messages. Melissa, can't wait for Saturday. This place is so expensive. We're really doing it right this year. Derek, Dad says we're getting the tasting menu. 6 courses plus wine pairings. Aunt Carol, everyone needs to Venmo me $150 by Friday to cover their portion. I watched the messages roll in. The math didn't work. Uncle Joe, Carol, that seems high. Are you sure about the price? Carol, the restaurant said they need a card on file but we can split it there. Just bring your cards. It'll be fine. I could practically see the disaster forming. Mirabelle didn't work that way. Laurent had explained their policy to me personally. For private dining reservations, they required either a corporate account or a credit card authorization for the full estimated amount 48 hours before the event. No exceptions. I opened my email and found the automated notification I received 3 days ago, corporate account usage alert, reservation for 25 guests at Mirabelle, June 15th, estimated total $5,847, charged to Northstar Digital corporate account under Director Jasmine Chen's authorization. I read it twice. Someone had made this reservation using my corporate account. The account I used for client dinners. The account that was supposed to be confidential. I called Mirabelle directly. Good afternoon, Mirabelle, this is Laurent speaking. Laurent, it's Jasmine Chen from Northstar Digital. Ah, Ms. Chen. How wonderful to hear from you. I trust you're calling about Saturday's reservation. I am. Can you tell me who made the booking? I heard papers shuffling. Let me see, the initial inquiry came from a Carol Jensen. She mentioned she was your aunt and asked if we offered family discounts for employees of our corporate clients. When I explained we don't, she asked if the reservation could be placed under your corporate account instead. She said you'd authorized it as a family gift. My grip tightened on the phone. I authorized nothing. Oh. Lauren's voice became carefully neutral. I see. She was quite insistent that you'd approved it. She provided your full name, your job title, and your corporate email address. I sent a confirmation to that email 3 weeks ago. I checked my spam folder. There it was, an email from Mirabelle confirming a corporate client appreciation dinner for 25 guests. I'd automatically deleted it, assuming it was a mistake. Laurent, I need to be very clear. I did not authorize this reservation. This is not a Northstar Digital business dinner. This is a personal family gathering that someone fraudulently booked under my corporate account. Silence. Then, I understand. What would you like me to do? What are my options? Well, the reservation is in 2 days. We have your corporate card on file. Unless you cancel or provide alternative payment, the charge will process to your account. If the charge is declined or disputed, the party will be asked to provide payment on arrival. If they cannot pay, we will not be able to serve them. I thought about it. Thought about Carol using my confidential corporate information without permission. Thought about them planning this elaborate dinner while assuming I'd just pay for it. Or were they really that clueless about how corporate accounts worked? Here's what I want you to do, I said slowly. I'm removing my corporate authorization for this event. As of now, this is a standard private dining reservation with no payment method on file. Your normal policies apply. Understood. I'll update the reservation immediately. And Ms. Chen? I'm very sorry this happened. We should have verified with you directly. It's not your fault, Laurent. But I appreciate your help. After I hung up, I sat in my office and stared at the family group chat. Nobody had mentioned anything about a corporate account. Nobody had asked me if I could help with the cost. They'd just taken it. Assumed it was theirs to use. My phone buzzed. Melissa, Jazz. Are you bringing anyone? We need a final head count. I typed back, just me. See you Saturday. Melissa, great. And don't worry about the cost. Carol's got it all handled. I'll bet she does, I thought. Saturday evening, I dressed carefully. Not too nice, they expected struggling Jasmine, the one who wore Target basics and drove a 10-year-old Civic. Never mind that I recently leased a Tesla Model 3 that I kept parked in my building's garage, or that my closet now included several designer pieces for actual client meetings. Tonight, I wore simple black pants, a white blouse, and flats. The kind of outfit that said, I tried, without saying, I can afford better. I arrived at Mirabelle at 6:53 p.m. Early, as always. The restaurant was beautiful, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, white tablecloths, crystal chandeliers. Our private dining room was to the left of the main entrance, accessible through an elegant hallway. I could hear my family already inside, laughing loudly. Through the doorway, I saw them gathered around the long table, examining the menus, taking selfies with the fancy place settings. Laurent spotted me in the hallway. His eyes widened slightly, he knew I'd removed the corporate authorization, knew what was coming. Miss Chen, he said quietly. Good evening. Laurent. How are we doing? The reservation stands as you requested. No payment method on file. I'll need to settle the bill before the party leaves. He paused. I wanted to warn you, your aunt has been telling everyone this is a comp dinner, because of your corporate connections, of course she has. Thank you for the heads up, I said. I walked into the private dining room. Jasmine. Aunt Carol rushed over, pulling me into an overwhelming hug. You made it. And you're early. That's perfect. Hi, Aunt Carol. The place looks beautiful. Doesn't it? She beamed. And the best part, it's all taken care of. Your corporate account is covering everything. I told everyone you'd arranged it as a gift. Wasn't that sweet of you? I blinked. I'm sorry, what? The dinner? When I called to make the reservation, I explained you worked for that big digital company and they said we could use your corporate account. Such a relief. Nobody has to pay anything. Around the table, my family was nodding, smiling, raising their wine glasses at me in thanks. My cousin Marcus called out, Thanks for the hookup, Jazz. This is way better than Olive Garden. I opened my mouth to correct her, but Uncle Joe cut in, Carol, before we get started, someone needs to move cars. Jasmine, you early, why don't you go park everyone's cars so we don't have to pay for valet? Save the family some money? The table went quiet for a beat, then erupted in laughter. Melissa chimed in, Oh my god, yes. Jazz can be our valet. She's probably used to it from all those corporate events she assists at. I don't assist, I said quietly. I'm a director. Derek snorted. Director of what? Parking? More laughter. Carol patted my arm. Sweetie, it's fine. We're all proud of you no matter what your title is. Now, be a dear and help us out? Derek just got his BMW detailed and he doesn't want the valet touching it. I looked around the table. 24 faces, aunts, uncles, cousins, second cousins. People I'd spent holidays with. People who'd watched me grow up. And not one of them was objecting. Not one of them thought there was anything wrong with asking me to park cars at my own family reunion. No, I said simply. Uncle Joe frowned. What do you mean, no? I mean no. I'm not parking cars. I'm a guest at this dinner, same as you. Come on, Jazz, don't be difficult, Marcus said. It'll take like 15 minutes. Then you do it, I suggested. Melissa rolled her eyes. God, when did you get so stuck up? We're asking for a simple favor. I looked at Carol. Aunt Carol, can I talk to you outside for a moment? We're about to order appetizers. Now, please. Something in my tone made her follow me into the hallway. The moment we were alone, I turned to face her. Did you tell the restaurant to charge this dinner to my corporate account? Her face flushed. Well, I mentioned you worked for a big company, and they said they had corporate accounts, and I thought, you thought you'd decommit fraud by using my confidential business information to book a $6,000 dinner without asking me first? Fraud? Jasmine, don't be dramatic. We're family. I assumed you'd want to help. You make good money, you don't know what I make. You've never asked. Your mom mentioned you got some promotion. My mother has been dead for 12 years, I said coldly. Try again. Carol's mouth opened and closed. I just thought, you could help the family out. We wanted to do something nice, but it's expensive, and you have that corporate account that I use for business purposes. Not personal events. Not family reunions. And definitely not without my explicit permission. So you're saying you won't cover it? Her voice rose. After I told everyone you were treating? I'm saying I removed the corporate authorization 3 days ago. There's no payment method on file for this reservation. You'll need to settle the bill yourselves. The color drained from her face. What? You heard me. Mirabelle requires payment before the party leaves. Figure it out. I walked back into the dining room, grabbed my purse from the chair they'd saved for me at the far end of the table, naturally the seat farthest from the window squeezed between two cousins I barely knew, and headed for the exit. Jazz, where are you going? Derek called out. Leaving, I said without turning around. But we haven't even ordered yet. Enjoy your dinner, I said, and walked out. I made it to the lobby before I heard the shouting start. Through the closed door, I could hear Aunt Carol's voice, shrill and panicked. She what? She can't do that. She promised. I kept walking. I'd just reached my car, my actual car, the Tesla I'd driven tonight because I was done pretending, when my phone started ringing. Carol. Declined. Uncle Joe. Declined. Melissa. Declined. A text from Derek, WTF Jazz? Carol says you canceled the corporate thing? We already ordered appetizers. I didn't respond. I sat in my car and waited. 17 minutes later, Laurent called me. Ms. Chen? I wanted to update you on the situation. Go ahead. The appetizers have been served. The party has consumed approximately $380 worth of wine. I informed your aunt that payment would be required before the main course, as is our policy for reservations without deposit. And she attempted to pay with 3 different credit cards. All were declined. I closed my eyes. Of course they were. She's currently asking if the party can split the bill across multiple cards, but given the number of people and the amount already consumed, plus the committed tasting menu. He trailed off delicately. What's the damage so far? With the appetizers served, wine consumed, and the committed tasting menu for 25 people, we're looking at a minimum of $5,847. Plus tax and gratuity, the total would be $7,284. And nobody can pay? I've collected 4 credit cards so far. 2 were declined entirely. What happens now? I need to address the room. Would you like to be present for that? I thought about it. Thought about walking back in there, seeing their faces when they realized the free dinner they'd planned was crumbling. Thought about the satisfaction of watching karma in real time. No, I said. But Laurent? When you make the announcement, I want you to be very specific about whose account this was supposed to be charged to, and who removed that authorization. Ms. Chen. Please. They need to understand that actions have consequences. A long pause. Then, understood. I'll handle it professionally. I know you will. Thank you, Laurent. I hung up and pulled up the family group chat. The messages were exploding. Melissa, someone call Jazz. Marcus, where did she go? Carol, her voicemail is full. Derek, this is insane. The manager says we have to pay before we can eat the main course. Uncle Joe, how much is it? Carol, almost $6,000. Melissa, what? Derek, that can't be right. Carol, that's what he said. The tasting menu is $185 per person plus wine plus tax plus tip. Marcus, why did we order the tasting menu if we couldn't afford it? Carol, because Jasmine was supposed to cover it with her corporate account. Melissa, well, someone call her and tell her to fix this. I put my phone on silent and waited. 4 minutes later, I saw Laurent walk through the front entrance of the restaurant, heading toward the private dining room with a leather portfolio, the bill, I assumed. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, I couldn't see into the private room, but I could imagine it. Laurent in his impeccable suit, holding the bill. My family's confused, then panicked faces. Carol trying to explain. Cards being declined one by one. My phone lit up with notifications. I didn't check them. Instead, I started my car and drove home to my condo, the 2-bedroom in the new high-rise downtown that my family didn't know I owned. I changed into comfortable clothes, ordered Thai food, and opened my laptop. I had emails to catch up on. A client presentation to review for Monday. A partnership proposal to finalize. My real life. The one my family knew nothing about. The messages continued all evening. Carol, Jasmine, please call me, this is an emergency. Derek, the manager just announced everything. He said the reservation was made under your corporate account at Northstar Digital. He said you removed the authorization on Wednesday. Why would you do this to us? Melissa, everyone heard the announcement, Jazz. The entire restaurant. Do you know how humiliating this is? Uncle Joe, we had to leave without eating. The manager wouldn't serve us without payment. Carol's cards were maxed. Derek's card was declined. This is a disaster. Marcus, they threatening to call the police if we don't pay for the wine and appetizers we already consumed. Carol, we had to pool $500 from everyone just to cover what we already ate. The manager embarrassed us in front of the whole restaurant. He made an announcement that said the $5,847 booking was under Jasmine Chen's corporate account at Northstar Digital. Ms. Chen removed authorization on June 12. All other payment methods have been declined. Everyone was staring at us. I read that message 3 times. Laurent had done exactly what I'd asked. He'd made it clear, publicly clear, that this wasn't my fault. That I hadn't promised anything. That they'd used my corporate information without permission, and that their own financial irresponsibility had caused this disaster. Melissa, people were filming us, Jazz. This is going to be all over social media. How could you do this to your own family? I typed a response, I didn't do this. You assumed I'd pay for an expensive dinner without asking me first. You used my corporate account without permission. You planned something you couldn't afford and expected me to bail you out. These are the consequences of those choices. The response was immediate. Carol, we're family. Family helps each other. You didn't want help. You wanted a free meal. There's a difference. Derek, this is so typical of you. You get a little success and suddenly you're too good for us. I was never too good for you. But I'm done being your ATM. Uncle Joe, we took you in after your mother died. We treated you like one of our own. This is how you repay us? I stared at that message. Took you in. As if the 3 months I'd lived with Uncle Joe when I was 19, paying $600 a month in rent while working 2 jobs to save for my own apartment, was some grand act of charity. You charged me rent, I typed back. At market rate. You didn't take me in. I was a tenant. And I'm done with this conversation. I left the group chat. The next morning, I woke up to an email from Laurent. Dear Ms. Chen. I wanted to follow up on last night's incident. After you left, the situation escalated as expected. Your family was unable to provide payment for the full reservation. I want to apologize again for our role in this situation. Your aunt was very convincing when she claimed to have your authorization, but we should have verified directly with you. We've updated our corporate account policies to prevent this from happening again. I also want you to know that your Northstar Digital account remains in excellent standing, and we look forward to continuing to serve your business needs. Please let me know if there's anything else I can do. Best regards, Laurent. I replied thanking him and confirming that I understood it wasn't his fault. Then I opened the family group chat I'd left last night. Out of morbid curiosity, I wanted to see what they'd said after I left. The messages were exactly what I expected. Melissa, she left the chat. Unbelievable. Carol, I can't believe she did this. We're the laughingstock of the family now. Derek, maybe if she hadn't been so selfish, we could have had a nice dinner. Marcus, did you see her car? She was driving a Tesla. She's been lying to us about struggling this whole time. Uncle Joe, she's always been manipulative. Just like her mother. I stopped reading there. 2 weeks later, I heard through a former coworker who was Facebook friends with Melissa that the incident had indeed gone viral, at least within our extended family network. Someone had filmed Laurent's announcement and posted it to Facebook. The comments were divided. Some family members sided with Carol and the others, claiming I was cruel and selfish. But others, cousins I'd barely spoken to, distant relatives, even a few family friends, commented things like, "Why would you book a $6,000 dinner if you couldn't pay for it? Using someone's corporate account without permission is fraud." She set a boundary. Good for her. I didn't engage with any of it. Didn't comment, didn't share, didn't acknowledge. 3 months later, I got a text from an unknown number. Jazz, this is Marcus. I wanted to reach out. I've been thinking about what happened at the reunion. You were right. We treated you like garbage and expected you to smile and pay for it. That wasn't okay. I'm sorry. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed back, thank you for saying that. It means a lot. For what it's worth, I told Carol and the others they were wrong. They don't want to hear it, but I thought you should know not everyone blames you. I appreciate that. Are you doing okay? I am. Really well, actually. Good. You deserve it. That was the only apology I received. The only acknowledgement that maybe, just maybe, asking someone to park cars at their own family reunion, and then fraudulently using their corporate account to fund a dinner they couldn't afford, was wrong. But it was enough. I'm still at Northstar Digital. Still coordinating client dinners at Mirabelle with Laurent, who greets me warmly every time and has never mentioned that night again. Still driving my Tesla. Still living in my condo. Still building the life I worked for. And I'm done shrinking myself to make other people comfortable. I learned something important in that hallway at Mirabelle. The people who truly value you don't ask you to park cars while they celebrate. They don't use your resources without asking. They don't assume your success exists to serve their convenience. And if they do, you have every right to walk away. Have you ever been taken for granted by people who should have valued you? How did you set boundaries? Share your story below.